Hi everyone, welcome. I'm preparing to feed my African nightcrawler bins. ANC is what I use as the abbreviation for the African nightcrawlers. Bins 1 and 2, pretty routine feeding. The one oddball thing is this leftovers of rice that I left out to dry, and I was going to use in my next batch of worm chow, but since it's got mold growing on it, I'm just thinking I'm going to include it with today's feeding, which is pretty routine stuff. There's carrot, tomato, cucumber peels, and I got my prepared bedding too, so curious to see how they're doing after 2 weeks since we last checked in on these now 66-day-old worm bins. Their last feeding was the 5th, so this is their 6th feeding now. And after 2 weeks, the stuff we gave them 2 weeks ago has probably been eaten. It was all leafy stuff, but we did find leftovers last time when we were in here of things that had been placed in previously that we're still holding out. Ooh, this one's a little bit more fragile than the other one was. So out here on the surface, definitely noticing a kind of a little depreciation where they've probably been in to eat the stuff we gave them. In addition to the foods, there was also a nice amount of leaf bedding put in here, just dry leaves. Stuff the worms are probably really enjoying. So the only leftover I've encountered so far, I felt the seed of an avocado right here. It's a little bit of mushiness too, so we've got leftovers. There's the shell of it. Well, shell, pit, you would expect those sort of things to go a little bit more slowly. There's more of it. You'd think there'd be more of a worm party going on there, wouldn't you? I don't know if we've got avocado in the other one too, so now we're bumping into some of the leaves from last time. And some worms hanging out in it. It looks like it could use a little bit more moisture. It's got little pockets of somewhat dry leafy material in it. I mean, nothing that seems terribly dry, but just probably not dry even. It just hasn't sort of soaked in the dark sort of color like the rest of the stuff around it. It all just still looks kind of fresh. Let's see if we got any worms. If we dig a little deeper here, see, look at that. Well, whatever. It'll eventually get to that point where the worms find it comfortable. Here and there we'll bump into little sections where the worms are already enjoying it, like there. Nice. Okay. Kind of expecting to find similar leftovers as what we found in the other one, but so far I don't think I've encountered anything that resembles the avocado, if there was an avocado in here, and I'm guessing there might have been, but you know what? I'm probably just missing it. Now here's what I use as my prepared bedding in the feedings, usually, except last time I used straight up leaves. Figured this time we go back to this stuff. This stuff's been sitting around for a couple weeks now, so it's nice and aged and soaked. And this includes leaves too, the little tiny fragments of leaves piled in here. So now to get this nice and dry rice sort of damp again, I think it's going to be a good idea to match this stuff up with that juicy tomato that you saw. Each bin's going to be getting a tomato like that, and it's going to dump moisture, right? As soon as this thing starts thawing out. So I figured maybe putting that together with its ample moisture right onto the stuff that needs moisture, and that should be a nice match. A little paper towel, had another one over here. Nice. And you know what? This thing I was holding the rice on looks like a nice piece of extra bedding to include too. And then these things are kind of in big frozen blocks, so I tried to separate the cucumber peel to make it into two more or less equal portions. I think I sort of got there on the carrot too. Pretty good split. And all this ice, what the heck? We'll throw it in. This system seems like it could use a little bit of moisture on some of those leftover leaves that are in here from previous check-ins. Still doesn't even seem like it's gotten very damp yet, but It will, and all this stuff that we're putting in here as it starts to thaw out is going to get nice and damp too for them. So I think we've got ourselves a pretty nice setup here. Those top covering newspapers, well, the one that was in here was pretty worn, but I always like to see if I can get it through one final use before I trash it. All that, you know, it was kind of falling apart right there in my hand, so I don't think it's going to make it past this next feeding interval. But we'll put that top covering right back just the way we found it, as best we can, in its fragile state. So let's get these outer edges quickly inspected too, is my thinking, as long as we're in here. We got to see what was happening down in the feeding zone, but out here in the outskirts, I also like to see that everything's looking good. Nice little pockets of worms here and there. The system looks like a nice, comfortable setup. And I like being nice and generous too. We got to get these foods tucked back down, right? These leftovers, almost forgot about those. It's funny that we didn't bump into them over there, but it just seems like it's inevitable. There's got to be pretty much some of the same stuff over there as what we found here. To have found an avocado over here and not find one there seems unlikely, but who knows? Maybe I threw myself a curveball. Let's see here. I don't know. Things look pretty nice in these systems. Little pockets of dry, like that stuff right there that I had in my hand a moment ago. I'm tucking that down there. What's this? I kind of breezed right by this. It looks like a piece of apple. I think we had some apple in here. Oh, that was funny. Interesting how they evaded me. They were probably right there under my nose the whole time, but, well, I don't think we need to bother them much more than that. Let's we'll start over here with this really haggard one. Try to get it back out over the surface, but it's torn pretty good. I gotta be really careful with it, otherwise it's just gonna turn to confetti. But even though it's got good amounts of it missing already, there's a whole bunch of top covering goodness left that we can keep going with for another round. But I think next time we'll probably be giving these guys a little treat. And we'll give them new top coverings, and the treat's going to be this stuff being thrown down with the feeding. Nice seasoned paper. And what else? Plastic coverings. Alright everyone, not much more for me to do here other than cover up and clean up and put things away. Oops. But I'm not going to keep you around for that. That stuff's boring. Before I go though, really quick, let me just say thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, as always, please don't forget to leave me a quick thumbs up before you go. That's always really appreciated. If you haven't done so already, please also consider subscribing to the channel. That's really appreciated as well. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye now.